Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Neil Haley Show. You can check me out on Twitter at Total Tutor and also neilhaley.com. And I have been concerned about my kids lately. And the reason is because the world is ever changing. My daughter wants to always go on social media, where I'm a bit concerned of her going on social media, or my son being on FaceTime too much, or all these different people in my family. How can I keep my kids safe today in today's world? And so I had to go to the expert. Dr. Nancy, thanks again. I'm happy to stop by and talk to you about this, and it's really a big concern for me.
Neil, thanks so much for talking with me about this today, because it's such an important topic. What's happening right now is that kids are finding out through social media and through their friends and through their parents and through the news in particular that they may not be totally safe anymore.
Yes.
And it's causing certain types of anxieties and fears, some of which are very real and very reality based, and some of which are things that really may or may not ever happen. So the first thing we want to do is watch the news with your children. Don't turn it on. Watch it with your children, because you need to create an awareness for them about what they're viewing. You need to create conscious viewing skills for them so that they can watch what's happening and they can pull out whether or not there's any political bias in what they're watching. You want kids to be able to watch a news broadcast or even a commercial, especially commercials, because they're so persuasive, and be able to know what the message is that's trying to be transmitted, and whether it's being transmitted honestly or whether there's bias attached to it. And I do have a blog on my website that we'll reference, that people can go to really look at political bias, what it is, and how and why to avoid it.
That's very valuable for people to look at, because it concerns me all the time about what information's coming out of the television. Especially they watch a lot of Disney and different things like that, and you say, well, I really didn't teach them about that. Really didn't teach them about dating and or this stuff at this point in time. When do you think it would be a good time, especially when you talk about the news, for you to watch it with your kids? What age? Because again, I have a variety of ages of kids that some of them shouldn't be exposed to some of the news that's on right now.
That's absolutely right. Well, children don't necessarily have to be exposed to news until they hit school age, because in school, schools have elections. They teach social studies. The whole school usually votes whenever there's an election. So all of it starts to be talked about, and then kids bring things to school that they heard at home. Okay, so they start. Even political arguing starts even within the school setting. My dad said, if you vote for that person, that you're just an idiot, and they pick up things that parents say. We may not have clean water. I heard we're not going to have clean water.
That's true.
I heard my dad might lose his job. I heard we might lose our health care. And so they're hearing things not only in the news, but from their parents. They're bringing these ideas to school.
Right.
And they're getting into the same kinds of political arguments and conversations that parents get into.
Right.
And even when they're yelling at the news, they're watching the news and they're yelling at the screen. Kids hear a lot from us. So when we're watching the news with our kids, we want to be very conscious, help kids to really see, okay, what's going on? Is this factual reporting? Are these the facts? Is this somebody's opinion, fact versus opinion? And real threat versus possible threat. So what you want to do is you want to really look at what's being said, and is it a real threat, or is it a global threat, or is it a personal threat?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so a personal threat is, my dad might lose his job if this law changes, or this rule goes through, or if this law is repealed. But it may just be that they're not feeling safe on a global level, on a real sort of a national and international level. And you might start to see symptoms. You may start to see sleeplessness, maybe some school phobia, acting out, anxiety, getting into fights with other kids, even nightmares, or developing sort of irrational fears about what they're seeing. And when you notice that, it's time to pay attention. Too much news, way too much news. It's time to cut back, and you don't want to overdo it. You want to follow the American Pediatric Association's guidelines for the amount of viewing. There's some discrepancy among psychologists and pediatricians about that screen time, but there are some good guidelines for parents to follow. because you don't want to overexpose them, but you want to expose them enough that they can develop the skills that they need to watch and know what to worry about and what not to worry about.
And because of the political climate going on, especially how people still are not over the election, that information comes out because kids take a lot of times the bias of what their parents have. That's what they're more willing to bring up these certain conversations and stuff, because they see that if mom believes this or dad believes this, I'm going to go out and I'm going to fight for the same thing. And then if they aren't in the majority, it can become very, very dangerous. And
it can become very dangerous. And as we teach children about how to avoid these conflicts, we need to teach them how to listen respectfully to other people. Because it's much easier for kids to push one another in an argument than it is for adults. And it can happen with any type of an argument, especially a political argument. So you want to teach children to definitely listen to other people's ideas, listen respectfully, respond respectfully, and teach them that regardless of what the ethics are, what the morals are, what the corruption is, the lack of corruption, whatever they're seeing on the screen, that you are going to maintain certain values and certain standards for your family, and you expect them to do it too. And that includes in personal conversation, in direct personal conversation. Now, when we look at what's directly impacting kids, the kids that are watching the news that are going to be doubly impacted are the ones that are having personal stress, moving, parents getting divorced, things changing in their life in a way that's unpleasant. Anything that's going on with them that they don't want, things that are out of their control. So they're having personal stress, then they're hearing these threats, that I may not have clean water. And those things in combination are more likely to produce those symptoms that we talked about.
Now, parents sometimes are at fault. Isn't that true?
Yes, they are. And when you look at what's going on in the schools, just last week, parents, schools, the environment, parents in terms of what they say. But we just had a lockdown here of a school district within the last month because there was a shooter at large.
Oh my gosh.
That's a local issue that causes kids to not feel safe. You're not a baby boomer, I am. But when I was a kid, we used to have bomb fire drills. In the schools. Everybody would get under their chair and they'd launch the siren, and parents all had these bomb shelters in their basements. Now kids are having lockdown drills.
Oh my.
What are we going to do if there's a shooter? This is what we're going to do. This is where you're going to stand. This is how you're going to get flat on the floor. The doors are all going to be locked. The windows are all going to be closed. That's scary.
Very.
It's as scary as a bomb drill was for us when we were kids. So have things changed? They've changed to a degree because kids are much more aware of it. We now have media. And so they're much more aware of the things that they need to be concerned about.
What other concerns do you have out there about the media and in general that to keep our kids safe? You talked about politically and some of the political climate from television. What other things do you see?
Help kids to know what's a real threat and what's an imagined threat. A real threat is there is some chance that dad might lose his job, but you don't have to worry about that unless it happens. And not an imagined threat, but sort of a more remote threat are things that are not necessarily immediate, that they don't need to consider. We don't want kids to start worrying about their futures. So what's a genuine thing that they can be concerned about? And you want to give kids as much security as you can. You don't want to say to them, I won't let anything bad happen to you. You want to let them know what you can protect them from, what you may not be able to protect them from, but that you're going to provide the most secure, the most positive environment for them that you possibly can. You don't want to let them know that you think you're a miracle worker, that you can really keep them away from any type of harm. But you want them to feel secure and safe as much as possible in their home and with their parents.
Do you think that a lot of that stuff comes out through the media as well? You said loss of job, possibility of war, possibility of Russia as the big thing and the big issue now. Do you think that kids are over Google searching and doing certain things at the end of the world's coming, and you find a conspiracist on the internet or things like that, then they start talking to their friends about it, and then they think that this is it.
That's true. That's true. There's much more opportunity to get fake news.
Yes.
to
Oh,
get
well, that's a
false
great
news.
point. This whole fake news
Yes.
out there now.
Yes.
That's really concerning.
And that's why I talk about conscious viewing. When you're consciously looking at an internet post that says that the Pope said something inappropriate,
Right.
or that Michelle Obama has 20 aides and every other first lady only had one, consciously look at that and say, this is probably fake news. And then you go to Snopes.com, you
wow.
fact check it, and you don't forward it, and you post on Facebook, this is fake news.
Which we're hearing Facebook's considering trying to figure out how to stop that, but I have no idea algorithm-wise they're
I
going
don't
to
know
do
how
it.
you could. Yeah, I don't know how they can, but we are, and they have people 24 hours a day trying to keep fake news off of Facebook. So they're working on it. We know that they're on it. But parents have a role in that too. And parents really have to, first of all, take care of themselves.
Yes.
Because this is stressful for parents too.
Yes.
And they need to be able to relax. They need to be able to unwind. Because if you're constantly getting angry or upset about what you're seeing in the media, it's going to have a detrimental effect on your health and the health on your children. So never compromise your own morals, your own values, your own standards, and set the same ones for kids. And let them know that the ones that they see in the media
Yes.
are not necessarily the ones that they should be living.
So you're believing in a lot of ways that we keep things positive, and that parents have to have a better outlook going into 2017 as well, it sounds like, and beyond.
Absolutely, because we don't really know, how do we keep ourselves safe in an ever-changing world, but giving the greatest degree of security that kids can, and let them be children, love for children.
You have a wide variety of resources available at your website. Can you tell our viewers about where we can find info on you and stuff like that?
Yes, the blog about avoiding political bias, some information about the whole book that I've written about how to watch media, how to watch reality TV, politics, shows about the family, gender, advertising, is called Get Real, REEL, and that's also on the website, Get Real, Produce Your Own Life. And the website is either drmramor.com or realconsciousliving.com.
Okay.
And we'll put those graphics up for people so that they can find the website and find the resources.
And just Google you as well, and all the different places, because you're in many publications and share many different places, right?
Absolutely, I'm like you, I'm all over the place.
Not as much on the media. You're the TV guru for sure. So I appreciate
you.
Getting the chance to chat with her, and you guys all can check her out. And thanks for watching the Neil Haley Show, and take care.